I was doing some research online for volcanism and I came across this headline. And I realized it was a good opportunity to talk about sensationalization or disinformation, misinformation, whatever you want to call it, of science in the news media. And in this instance, I'd straight up call this disinformation. They are taking science and basically twisting it to make it a scary headline. And I'll just jump to the conclusion real quick here. This headline, what's it come from? Well, it comes from a publication with this headline, with this title: Seismic Evidence for a Recently Formed Mantle Upwelling Beneath New England. Nothing in there about a volcano. Okay, well, let's turn this into a lesson on like how to approach headlines like this, and to find out the truth, find out how accurate they are. So first off, right, this is playing at your emotions, right? I you click on this, or maybe I clicked on it because, oh man, this is scary stuff. A super volcano. It's underneath New England and it's gonna kill me. When's it gonna kill me? I don't know. Maybe I should move away from New England. Well, first off, why is this here? Why are they doing this? They want you to look at the advertisements, right? They want you to click on this headline and see the advertisements over here, which aren't here right now because, of course, I have an ad blocker. But that's what they're going after here. The headline is to play at your emotions. It's not to convey the truth. It's not to be accurate. It is tied to the truth, but it is not the truth. This exists to play with your emotions. This was designed to play with your emotions, which, the modern world does a whole lot of. Make you angry, make you scared, so you'll click on the thing and see the advertisement. So, okay, how do we think about this critically? How do we look at this critically? Well, first off, let's look at the supervolcano aspect, and let's just cruise down here in the article. Where is this information coming from? Okay, it's coming from a professor at Rutgers. And honestly, if you just kind of skim through the article, you can even kind of, control F and search for volcano. And first off, we don't see any quotes from the professor about volcanoes. It's whoever's writing the article is talking about volcanoes, but this guy wasn't really talking about that. He was talking about upwelling like a hot air balloon through the deeper part of our planet under New England. That's a big red flag. The stuff that they're quoting from this guy isn't talking about supervolcanoes. There's your first big red flag. Okay, if we want to know more about this, what's nice about this article, and most articles will do this, most of these cable news media or online news media websites will link to the actual article, so we can click on that. We can go over here to Rutgers, which is a much more reputable website because it's the university that's doing this research, and we can read through this and we can see what he's talking about, and we can see quotes from him that straight up are saying it's not Yellowstone-like, right? Yellowstone being a supervolcano. It's a distant relative in the sense that something's relatively small, no more than a couple hundred miles across is happening. But again, no talk of a supervolcano. There's a little bit of still kind of excitement at the beginning up here talking about, although there's not a major volcanic eruption for millions of years. So even this is less than perfect. It gets into the details and you get a lot more of the truth. And frankly, I could stop here and be like, all right, already we're really far away from this headline of a super volcano showing up right here. Already I've got enough information to realize that, okay, this headline is full of it. But if we wanted to, again, we can keep on chasing this and we can skim through the article. We can see that, the NSF, which is basically just a pile of money, has this program where they throw money at and it's designed to study the Earth. And this guy did that, and some other scientists, and they published this right here. So this is where the information is coming from, is this publication. We can click on that and boom, takes me to the article. And it sucks that I actually have to buy the article to read the whole thing. But if you're savvy, you can usually find a way to get past that paywall. Actually, this is a little known fact by a lot of people. You can email these folks. You can get their emails through these articles and just email the scientist and be like, hey, can I have a copy of the article? And they are allowed to send you a copy of the article. And thereby you don't have to pay for the thing. And if for some reason they can't do that, they'll tell you. But anyway, so again, we're back to this. We can see the title, Seismic Evidence, and we can read through this. Okay, there's some neat stuff going on 100 to 300 kilometers beneath the crust, and, there's nothing going on at the surface. This is nothing about a supervolcano. In fact, that isn't talked about at all in this article. It's not about a supervolcano. There's just a hot part of the mantle underneath that part of the world, and it's interesting and probably worth exploring to understand the Earth better. It was taken and sensationalized and turned into supervolcano language, which is not that at all. And frankly, if this hot part of the mantle did start breaking up through the Earth's crust, it wouldn't necessarily result in a supervolcano anyway. It might show up as a small flood basalt kind of event, or maybe it'd come up and solidify, not erupt at all. This really is, as a geologist, I can say this is pretty bad. And this isn't just, and again, back to the media side of this, like, it's not just, I'm singling out Fox News because they're really bad at this, but it's cable news in general, and a lot of online news media will do this. If you see a scary headline, you should be skeptical. You should be very skeptical. But it doesn't take much to know more. If you want to know more, to click on it and just, okay, spend like 30 seconds skimming the thing or less, and use, your search function. Be like, okay, the guy who's researching this isn't talking about that at all. Okay, red flag. And in my head canon, I'm going to be like, I'm not going to worry about this. Because this is probably just a quote news company trying to get me to click this thing, so I'll look at their advertisements over here and buy the Bud Light, buy the Ford F-150 or whatever. That's how these companies make money, by the way. They make sensationalized headlines to scare you, to make you worried, so you'll click on them and you'll see the advertisements. That's why they do this. That's why they bend the truth so much. And if you're somebody that's kind of an expert on something, you are probably aware of this. You will see news articles on the subject you know something about, and you'll know that it's probably not true or being really misconstrued. And if you're, my students and you're younger, as you guys become experts in your various fields that you go into, you're going to see this same thing. And you should be asking yourself, okay, if it's this bad for the thing I know about, how bad is it for everything else? And so right there, I'm super skeptical of any information from these cable news websites, or the stuff they say on TV, because again, they're trying to get you to watch the advertisements. They don't have a mandate to tell you the truth. So it's a little lesson in critical thinking and being skeptical, and a little kind of walkthrough on what you can do to watch this stuff. What are, and if you're asking yourself, okay, where should I get my information from? There are better websites out there. There's people that talk about this that you can Google, what are good reputable websites that don't have sensationalized headlines. Pretty much the top two I'm aware of are AP News, which is the Associated Press, and the Reuters is another good one. They aren't nearly as sensationalized. In my opinion, I think PBS is pretty good because, again, their information is brought to you by viewers like you. It's, people volunteering up their money, and that's kind of where they get their revenue from, not nearly as much from advertisements. So they don't sensationalize things nearly as much. Are they perfect? No, none of them are perfect. But some are definitely a lot better than others. So, my recommendation to you is cultivate your news sources. And there are places out there, YouTube is full of garbage, but there's also people on YouTube that do a very good job of giving good, accurate information. They're an expert in their field, and that's what they're trying to do. Follow those people. Be skeptical of them. Follow up their information. But once you learn to trust them, then you can kind of stick with them for a while. And in general, you just have to be skeptical of the world and the media, because it may not be telling you the truth. So I hope you kind of get something out of this. And I kind of hope you judge the headlines a little bit more closely now after kind of seeing this and listening to this.